Hello, my name is Katie. I'm your dating and relationship coach, and today I want to make a video on what to do if a man you've been dating, talking to, has suddenly lost interest in you and you want to know, how do I get him back? By the way, if you're serious about attracting and keeping high quality men and you're interested to work with me one-on-one, then just go to the link in my description and book a free consultation with me. So say you've been speaking to a man for a few months, there were mutual interest, and then something happened. Maybe you had an argument, there were some misunderstandings, you said some things, he got upset, he misunderstood what you had said, you didn't mean it, and now he's not talking to you, he is ignoring you, he's no longer chasing you and being sweet anymore like he used to, and you still like him. You want him to go back to how he used to be. He used to pursue you, he used to show a lot of interest, and you're missing that, you're missing him. So what do you do? Okay, so chances are you're probably feeling confused. So I wanted to do this video for you, and I'm going to share 4 steps that you can take to move you into a really powerful solution. Okay, so step number 1, if you are confused, you just need to know that confusion is a very disempowering state. It's a very paralyzing state. When you are confused, you tend to stay spinning in your mind a lot. You tend to second guess yourself. You tend not to do a lot of things because you're wondering what you should do. Okay, so the fastest way to fix that is to ask yourself this question. If I wasn't confused, what would I do? If I'm not confused about this, what could I do? What could I try? Okay, so if you ask yourself that question, you'll probably come up with something, and then you will notice that you do have some options, but maybe you're hesitant to do one of the options because you're worried it's going to make things worse. You're worried he's going to further dislike you, or you're worried you're going to be further rejected, whatever it may be. So it's not so much the confusion. Confusion is just kind of like a veil to protect yourself from maybe future harm. But really, I think either way, the best step forward is to decide you're not going to be confused. And if you're not confused, what would you do? What could you do? Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is to look at the facts. What are the facts? You may need to get a second opinion if you can't look at your conversation with him or your messages with him from an objective point of view, right? So for example, I've had clients email me asking, okay, why is he ignoring me? Can you check our messages and see what you can decipher in here? Why is he ignoring me? Why isn't he talking to me? What could he be thinking about? And when I checked the messages, I noticed that the last message she had sent didn't warrant a response. And I just pointed that out, like, oh, you just ended the conversation. There was no need for him to respond. There was no need for him to answer because you didn't ask him a question. It could be something that simple that could be the reason why he hasn't said anything, right? So really check your messages, and really, like, from an objective point of view, and think a bit more expansively about why he may not have sent you a message, if that is something you're worried about. If you're wondering to yourself, why hasn't he messaged? Why is he ignoring me? Does he not like me anymore? And that kind of stuff, right? So maybe he didn't respond because he didn't think he needed to. Maybe he didn't say anything because he forgot. Maybe he got busy doing other things. Maybe he didn't send a message because he didn't know how to message you back or how to respond. Maybe he's confused, and if he's confused for whatever reason, that's paralyzing him to not take any action. That's why he's not sending a message back. Really think a bit about what the facts are and what else it could be. Not just going immediately to, oh, he's ignoring me, he's upset, that's the only option. Maybe not. Maybe there's some other reasons in there, okay? So number 3 Okay, number 3 is if you believe there has been a misunderstanding, then I think the best solution here is to clear that up, right? The best solution to any relationship problem is clear, concise communication. Okay, don't just sit around thinking, assuming, worrying, and not communicating, because communicating is the fastest way to resolve whatever the problem is in your relationship. Here's a tip on how to best do this for this kind of conversation. So the language pattern I always advise you use is I feel because I think. I feel and I think. Okay, so you want to maybe do a little bit of mental and emotional processing beforehand just to check in. Okay, how do I feel and what do I think? What am I believing? Okay, now when it comes to a misunderstanding, you need to take a guess at what you think he thinks, because there isn't the miscommunication is you thinking he's feeling upset or he's feeling bad because of a misunderstanding, because of a thought error, right? So you want to put that in there. Okay, so for example, you could say to him, I feel bad because last time we spoke, I said some things and it seemed to make you upset, and I think it's because you think I don't respect you. Okay, I just want to know, is that true? I just want to clear it up with you, right? And this is what good communication is. It's being really honest. Like, that's the vulnerable piece, telling him how you feel. I think a lot of you miss the how you feel part because that is the vulnerable part, right? You go immediately to the intellectual piece of it. You go into the, here's what I think you think, and just the high level intellectual stuff without grounding it with the emotional piece, okay? And you always want to ground those kind of conversations with how you feel. I feel bad, I feel sad, I feel guilty. You know, whatever the emotion is, you have to ground it with that, and then you go into the rest of it, because that vulnerable piece of it will immediately disarm the other person, okay? Because then they know you're not attacking them, you're just expressing your truth, and that is being vulnerable. Okay, typically we're very open to someone who is willing to be vulnerable, but we're less likely to be open if they're attacking us. And the last step number 4, is to take care of yourself by not beating yourself up, whatever the outcome may be. I know some of us, me included, tend to, if the outcome isn't what we wanted, so say we communicated with the guy and then he verified no, he's not interested, or nothing really changes, and you have it in your mind that it's your fault, you did it wrong, if only you hadn't have done that, it's all your fault, right? But in a very negative, detrimental way to yourself. You're really beating yourself up about your past actions and how it's led you here, right? So that is never useful. So I like to adopt the belief that if it's not meant to be, then it was never meant to be from the beginning. I just didn't know it yet. So all those times I thought it was gonna be something, I was actually wrong, right? And being okay with the fact that, oh, I was just wrong about that. I thought 2 + 2 = 5, but it's actually 4. Right, like not really beating yourself up. It's just like, oh, okay, I noticed I was wrong about that. That's okay, I just move on. I just like make a note of that. I thought I was right here, I'm actually wrong. That's all right, I just move on, right? And not making it like I'm wrong as a person, right? Like you can tell the difference, because one feels so heavy, whereas the other one is just like, oh, okay, yeah, I see I made a mistake here. That's all right, I've been wrong before. I can get over this. I can move on from this. So those are my 4 steps. I hope you've enjoyed this video and giving you some practical steps on what to do if your man has lost interest and you would like to get his interest back. I think we should always empower ourselves with the tools that we have and remind ourselves of what we have control over. We may not always be able to control what someone else does, how someone else responds, but we can control what we do, what we say, how we want to communicate, how we want to show up. And ultimately, clear and concise communication will always lead you to progression in a positive way in any relationship. If you're ready to finally attract and keep high quality men and have your dream relationship, just go to the link below, and from there you can book a free consultation with me and we can talk about how we can work together one-on-one. If you liked this video, please like me, and if you would like more videos like this, just subscribe to my channel. That's all from me this week, and I will talk to you next time.